right back. And once that happens, the same drug simply stops working. Now, doctors across the country are sounding the alarm. Overuse makes antibiotics less effective, failed treatment means longer illness, stronger medicines cost more, and treatment options keep shrinking. This is already happening in hospitals. The issue was flagged by Prime Minister Modi. He called antibiotic misuse a serious public health concern and warned that careless use can turn routine diseases deadly. He stressed the need for both awareness and enforcement. The message here is clear: avoid self-medication. Doctors say prescriptions matter for a reason. Not every fever or cold needs an antibiotic. The wrong drug can make an infection worse. Doctors also choose medicines based on the disease, not guesswork. So a prescription protects the patient and the larger public. This is not just India's problem. Antimicrobial resistance is a global crisis. Diseases once easy to cure are becoming difficult again. There are no new drugs waiting to replace failed antibiotics. Prevention is the only real defense here. Here are some of the questions every household must ask. Are antibiotics being overused? Are medicines being taken without advice? Are stronger drugs becoming the only option left? And are we creating a bigger health risk for ourselves? To answer all these questions, let's quickly go across to our guests joining us this morning to decode the science, the risk behind it all. Three experts with us this morning. First up, Professor Dr. Narendra Saini, who's a microbiologist and chairman of AMR committee at IMA and CMA, who also leads antibiotic research efforts, is with us. Good morning, doctor. Along with Dr. Mohsin Wali, Padma Shri awardee and former physician to 3 Indian presidents. Good morning, sir. And Dr. Dilip Bhanushali, National Immediate Past President of the Indian Medical Association, or the IMA. Thank you to the three of you for being with us. It's an important conversation, and the last 1 week has revolved around this more or less. Dr. Saini, let's begin with you. If we just speak of what's happening inside the labs, tell us what phenomena we're seeing. Why are these antibiotics not really working on not just the Indian population around the world, but sticking to the India-specific issue here? It's being compared to groceries. It's being seen as casually as groceries being sold in shops. Do you think that's the big problem here? And that's why we're not being able to build drugs or come up with drugs that are effective on human body?
You are very right. First, you said me in the lab what is happening. When I see the lab report, I find most of the common organisms which are there, they are showing resistance. That means they are not effective. Those antibiotics which used to be sensitive now becoming ineffective. They are showing resistance. That means that we are using, that bacteria is developing resistance. Now we have to find out why this bacteria is getting resistance. This resistance is happening because the scientific data proves that overuse, misuse, underuse also. If you do it, then it causes a resistance in the organism. There is a natural phenomena also, but this causes enhancement of this, because the bacteria is getting resistant. And secondly, the more important thing is we are getting no new antibiotics. 1938 was a golden era when we have penicillin, which we have penicillin. But you know, even if you discover an antibiotic, it takes around 15 to 20 years to come into the market, because it is being used in humans. When we discover a new molecule, it has to be tested in the human beings, and it takes almost this much of years. So for the last 20 years, last 20 or 30 years,
I was reading 30
any
somewhere.
new antibiotic. The last antibiotic which was discovered was daptomycin. It has come in 2003. After that, we do not have. And you just see daptomycin came in the new molecule which we discovered, daptomycin, 1980. So it takes 23 years. So that is a big problem. We have no new antibiotics in the horizon. At the same time, our organism, pathogenic organism, are causing resistance. The another thing is overuse and misuse, because you rightly said in your beginning remarks, we do not need antibiotics for all viral diseases. 70 to 80% of our diseases are viral in nature, but unnecessary misuse, overuse by a common public, and secondly by the pharmacist also. They are giving antibiotics as if they are all toffees and we are giving candies to the people. So we have to stop it. And
It's also an
really-
awareness
I
problem,
admire
Dr. Seni. A
our
lot of
Honorable
people go
Prime
to these
Minister also.
pharmacists, go to these shops which are within their residential area,
Yes.
and they think of these pharmacists as doctors who are going to give them the right prescription. So once if the medicine they gave you worked, they're going to solely rely on that pharmacist for the rest of their lives. So it's also an awareness problem to a large extent.
Not
Dr. Wali?
only, madam, not only.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Should I complete?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not only you said they want to go to the pharmacist, but if that leftover antimicrobial is there at a home, and they feel that it was getting, I got okay with that, they will give to their own their family member also use it as if they're going to help them out, but they do not realize they are spreading resistance for all these things. So we have to stop this, and there is a law. I really admire our Honorable Prime Minister when he said Man Ki Baat that this is causing a problem, is a pandemic, because 2050, if we see of 2050, the World Health Organization has said it is going to be pandemic like a COVID. So 10 million people will be dying because of this. So it's a huge problem, and I really admire our Prime Minister that he has said. But now the problem is that we have to implement the law. The law is there that pharmacists can't prescribe and can't give antimicrobials without the prescription. But unfortunately, they are giving. So I think I admire your program. It is going to the public. It is going to the pharmacists, going to the chemical parties. Indian Medical Association is doing a lot of things for so many years. But yes, now I think with the Prime Minister coming up, there will be a awareness program in the public.
We need to reach a point wherein this is no longer a silent pandemic. Dr. Wali, you have interacted or possibly interact with so many patients on a daily basis. You've practiced medicine for decades. Have you ever seen antibiotics being used as casually as they're being used today? Have patients come to you and tell us some of these stories, because it's important for people to understand where they're going wrong. Have they come to you and they've already said, Doctor, 3 दिन हो गए, 4 दिन हो गए, हमने ये एंटीबायोटिक ऑलरेडी खा लिया है, बट कोई असर नहीं हो रहा है?
Yes, good morning and happy new year to all the viewers. And we are discussing a global problem, which is part of Indian problem. Every day it happens. We come across people already coming and telling us that they've started on antibiotics. Sometimes they educate us that I got a better relief last time when doctor prescribed, so this time also I've taken. You know, this story has taken a global shape in developing countries. Ms. Valia, this is not the case here which ends here. We are getting subclinical doses of antibiotics in our day-to-day food or poultry or even antibiotics coming from the water through vegetables in a very subclinical dose. And this is the bigger part of the tragedy. And this is also conjoined by the fact that bacteria are smarter than us and our labs. They know how to grow mechanisms to escape from the antibiotics circulating around them in the blood through the oral intake or intravenous intake. So they have developed the mechanism over the years by getting exposed to smaller doses, as Dr. Saini was saying, in less dose, which is we call technically a subclinical dose, and they get resistant to it. Like you beat a child every day in the class, he will become what we call heat, resistant to the beating. Same way, not only this, but they develop a layer around them, a membrane. Entrance is blocked very cleverly. And not only this, the recent research shows that the entry gates on the cell wall, like my sound is entering through ear, if I plug my ear, try to listen from my mouth, I won't be hearing. So they develop impermeability to the normally existing pathways on their cellular outer membrane, and they become smarter to block that. Not it ends here, not even ends here. They have mechanisms in which they are capable of throwing out these smaller doses of antibiotics which entered into their cell. They expunge it out. They send the antibiotic material outside the membrane. They have developed in their mitochondria such mechanisms, and they have also developed that they can inactivate the antibiotic. So bacteria are getting smarter
Yeah.
with a larger speed than we and our labs are discovering antibiotics, which is a global tragedy because antibiotic development, as Saini said, is a long procedure, and we have to continuously research on that, like on anti-cancer drug. We are
You're talking
doing
about the
day and
bacteria
night.
being really smart, outsmarting human
Yes,
wit. Dr. Wali, a lot of people
yes.
don't understand the seriousness or where they're going wrong when they stop taking the antibiotic after, let's say, 2 doses. So, an incomplete antibiotic dose is as dangerous. Tell us why.
Most people, they do not buy the complete course. We are in a habit of buying smaller doses. We go to chemist, as was discussed in the beginning by you, also hinted by you. So actually, antibiotic is a prescription drug, should be prescription drug, and this should be followed. And the complete course should be calculated according to the severity of disease. Sometimes, as Dr. Sani said, I am telling for last 1 week after this Man Ki Baat episode of Prime Minister that since this has become a very important mudda and very important matter for India, the Prime Minister had to come out and say this. The reason is that inadequate prescription and inadequate use, as is pointed out, is the root cause of antibiotic resistance. The people should know whom to go to get a prescription, and it is our mistake also sometimes to cover everything. We, the doctors, also give antibiotics. I would very honestly be saying this that we also give antibiotics in minor illnesses which we should not have given, and this is also additive part of the problem. So we add to the problem sometimes.
Minor
So we have
illnesses also
also
sometimes as a precaution. So if a doctor anticipates that something major could build up in the next few days, a lot of people have said that even then they've been prescribed an antibiotic. So that's another place
good
where maybe health
point.
experts.
Good point. It is not a precaution. I
Yeah.
would say it is a hurry, or I would not be hesitating saying that this is not wise. I would not say it is foolishness to prescribe antibiotic in viral infection, but it is not wise. It is not, we are not giving a health care coverage by prescribing antibiotic, but rather we are producing more damage. So we have to get the appropriate way to prescribe antibiotic, culture the secretions, take a history. I was giving a very good example. If 4 people are falling sick in one house and have same symptoms, most likely it is virus. So if we take detailed history, how the patient has gone into trouble of present illness which we are dealing, probably we would circumvent around the actual diagnosis which we
Yeah.
are being taught in the beginning. Dr. Saab talked about penicillin. When I joined service in 1980, sulfadizine was a very good antibiotic, and this was very effective in many infections. So it was very cheap also.
But Dr.
Now the
Wali, you made
other
a very
problem,
important point. It's also a problem
Yeah.
that's multi-layered. So it's not one source alone. It's not just
Yes.
wrongful prescription or careless purchase of antibiotic. It's also found in what we're intaking or what we're consuming. So through our diet as well, this problem is multiplying.
Poultry,
There are a
poultry.
lot of aspects to this. I do want to go across to Dr. Bhanushali. He's been waiting patiently. I'll come back to you, Dr. Wali. Dr. Bhanushali, IMA doctors, several of them have come out to now draw the grocery analogy. That antibiotics are actually being sold like groceries. The dangers have been flagged. A lot of action is shaping up slowly. We've also seen a recognition on part of several top bodies that are now taking this into account and really doing something about it. But why has regulation so far failed on ground? Dr. Bhanushali.
Yeah, namaskar. Good morning. Yeah, it's a really serious concern, not only in India but throughout the world. In fact, WHO also has raised the alarm about antibiotic resistance. As you rightly said, there are so many factors which this has been going on, right from without prescription taking drugs from the pharmacist, then inadequate dose, no indications, without indications. Quacks. Quacks use antibiotics, third generation antibiotics, first you visit them, even in a viral fever, without knowing the indication, without knowing the complication, without knowing the dosage. So there are many factors. You can't blame on only one factor. There are, of course, as you rightly said, there are laws for that. But who is going to implement this?
Is
So,
enforcement the missing
we-
link? Because without
So we
prescriptions,
as-
if there is a law in place, Dr. Bhanushali, how are antibiotics still being sold without prescriptions?
At first, so there is nobody to implement that.
And what do you suggest
So-
can be done? Or what are top
Government
doctors
should be
now?
very strict.
Yeah.
Government should be very strict about this. Without a doctor's prescription, no pharmacist should dispense this antibiotics. So then there were reports that there should be an audit on the use of antibiotics. And that's a very big mechanism for that. So first is to see that pharmacists don't use give antibiotics without doctor's prescription.
Dr. Saini, I want to quote this number because this should ring the alarm bells, as is the need of the hour. An estimated 2.6 lakh deaths in India due to various infections in 2021 were directly attributable to antimicrobial resistance. That number in itself is big. There are several other studies that have come out with a far bigger number, and that's why we're having this conversation as well. If resistance keeps rising at this level, what are the health concerns that, let's say, should worry us or we should think about over the next 10 years that could backfire, the way some of these illnesses like pneumonia and UTI have so far?
I think very valid question. We have to think about, the general public had to think about what will happen. We are now claiming that we are able to cure heart diseases, we are able to cure cancers, but all these are dependent upon the effective use of antimicrobials, because there is going to happen some bit of infection. Oncology people are more prone to infections, but if I do not have antimicrobials to take care of their infection, then what will happen? All these these progress which are happening in cardiovascular disease, happening in cancer, happening in other areas, they will go away. All my patient who will be undergoing a operation, they can die because of any infection which is coming. We are not able to treat that. And secondly, as I said before, these antimicrobials are difficult to obtain now. We do not have antimicrobials since 2003 onwards. So there is no new antimicrobials. The present one are getting resistance. Secondly, very wisely told by Dr. Wali also, there is a overuse of antimicrobials in other sectors also, not only in human beings. We have to take a One Health approach. The animals, the misuse is happening. The same way it is happening in the plants also. I do not know why in agriculture also there is a misuse of antimicrobials. They are using it, and through that it is going into the groundwater. So just think of, if you take a study, there are many studies which has happened that the water which you are drinking having molecules of antimicrobials. So some optimal doses are coming into our system as such, which is causing a resistance to all these organisms. So this is very important that we use. And thirdly, I want to say that even people do not have a mechanism. If I have in my house antimicrobials, where do I throw it? So what happens is, it has to be going through a system, that it should not be put into a waste bin, and then from the waste bin it goes to some place in the ground, and then from the ground, when the rain comes, it trickles down to the groundwater. So there has to be a system that these antimicrobials, which they are at home, they are in the hospitals, and how they are discarded, that mechanism has to be evolved. So we have to take all these things to totality. One Health approach is very, very important, plus the discarding of antimicrobials. They cannot be thrown away like paracetamol and other things.
Is there
into
a health
the drain.
advisory, Dr. Saini, on
Otherwise
this?
it will be.
Because a lot of people don't know that this is a must-do to begin with. Forget knowing how they should dispose
that is
antimicrobials.
I am sorry, madam, there is no, unfortunately, there is nothing in that. There is nothing, no people knows about it.
Yeah.
And if you, the health advisory is that should be given to the pharmacist. They should discard it properly, giving it to the biomedical waste people. But there is no advisory, and as such, the pharmacists do not know that they have to, how to dispose it off. So all these things have to be taken into consideration. All these things are required consideration, that how to be disposed of these antimicrobials, and another one is infection control and vaccination program, because these things should not happen at all. I have to take care that my people should not get infected. So we have to effectively talk about vaccination. We are talking about vaccination in children, but nobody has talked about vaccination in adults. That is also very important, to at least we should not get infection at all. And for that, some vaccinations are there, but adult vaccination we do not talk about. No doubt we are talking about more about this vaccination about children, but we have to talk about vaccination. Then the infection control practices, hand washing techniques. We have to tell our people that you have to avoid infections.
And you don't need a COVID-like reminder for it.
COVID.
Yeah, you don't
and
need
there was a study. There was a study in COVID that azithromycin and tetracycline has been overused. And just see the result of, and in the COVID there was nothing, because the viral disease, there was no use, no recommendation of using tetracycline and azithromycin. It has been so much used, now we find the organisms are resistant where it is required. And we have to realize one more thing, madam, ki through your, we have in our body, my body is having microorganisms which is called bacteria. They are good. So we have to realize in a system that we have good bacteria also. By overuse of this antimicrobial, we are killing our good bacteria. And these good bacteria are also helping me out in fighting the infections, because they do not allow the pathogenic bacteria to come inside. But when I am
Dr. Seri, that's too many must-dos for one episode. We're going to have to make lengthy notes to register all of this. But we will keep reconnecting. We will keep talking about this. This is a discussion that needs more importance. But what's also interesting is, and a lot of doctors have flagged amidst this whole confusion and how people are carelessly popping antibiotics, is it creates trust erosion between doctors and patients, because a doctor once prescribes you an antibiotic for a certain disease or a certain illness, the patient carelessly takes it the second time as well. When proven ineffective, they blame the doctor squarely. So those kind of stories also something that we've heard of. But thank you so much. That's all the time we have. Thank you, Dr. Bhanushali, Dr. Wali and Dr. Seri for joining us this morning. Hopefully, we'll once again touch upon this in days to come. For now, heading into a quick break. Coming up next, we shift our focus to our person of interest, Ajit Singh. He's a Rajasthan-based software engineer, but he is addressing environmental concerns on multiple levels in a very unique way. We'll go over to him in just a bit. And then we'll be joined by Robin Bell. He is a Mumbai-based athlete and fitness coach, but has made the entire country proud, became the first Indian to complete the Antarctic Ice Marathon.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
While Minister Delcy Rodriguez was formally sworn in as the country's interim president, as deposed President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York court on drug charges. So that is a major update that is coming in from Venezuela, that Delcy Rodriguez has been formally sworn in as the country's interim or acting president, as deposed President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York court on drug charges. And we are joined by Siddhant Mishra on this broadcast. Siddhant, what do you make of this development?
Well, that's right. So now Nancy Rodriguez have been sworn in as the vice president, as the interim president of the Venezuela. In fact, immediately after Maduro was taken into custody by the U.S. forces, the Supreme Court, the constitutional bench of the constitutional chambers of the Supreme Court of Venezuela, appointed her as the interim president. and this has already been mandated in the constitution of Venezuela, and now she has taken the oath of the office.
Right, Siddhant. Siddhant, if you could tell us how long is the interim presidency expected to last and what conditions would end it?
Well, look, situation is very fluid right now in Venezuela. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow because US says that we are in charge of Venezuela. Venezuelan government, Maduro's government says that we will run the country. Then generals are also very powerful in Venezuela. In fact, yesterday at UNSC, the member countries demanded peaceful transition, democracy to be restored, etc., etc. All those things were said. So it's very, very, very difficult to predict the future of Venezuela because the Maduro loyalists are still running the country. They don't want to give up. Now the opposition leader Machado says that she should have been the president and she is the legit president of Venezuela. So there are a lot of stakeholders, generals, United States. So it's a very, very complex situation. In fact, yesterday at UNSC, member countries also said that they believe that that there's going to be the peaceful and democratic process taking place in Venezuela. So let's hope for that.
Right, Siddhant. Siddhant, I would request you to stay on as we are getting another breaking news. Heavy gunfire has been reported across parts of Caracas over the past 45 minutes, including areas near the presidential palace. Residents have also reported sounds consistent with drones and aircraft, while power outages are affecting multiple neighborhoods in the region. The situation remains unclear as of now. Now, let me go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, why is this violence happening in Venezuela?
No, as we were discussing, Harsh, that situation is very fluid, very complex in Venezuela because right now the Supreme Court has appointed a vice president as the interim president of the country. But as I was mentioning before, the key energy infrastructure are controlled by the army generals, and army generals are very powerful in Venezuela. So on one end, you have the civilian government of Maduro, the vice president becoming the interim president, then army generals running the key infrastructure. Then the opposition forces in Venezuela, anti-Maduro forces, they are also there in Venezuela. So it is very complex. Now, all we know is that during the past 45 minutes, heavy gunfire has been heard in Caracas, including near the presidential palace. Possible drone or aircraft noises have also been reported. Some areas are without power. Now, there's no word from the authorities. So could be other U.S. operation going on in Venezuela because the other day, President Trump said that he does not, he will not think before sending troops to Venezuela. In fact, the U.S. also warned that there could be more.
Welcome back. Our person of interest this morning is Ajit Singh, a software engineer from Rajasthan who turned a simple resolve into a green revolution. Ajit was moved by the news of drought and dry land in Shekhawati region and began planting trees, not just one or two, but clusters, which he calls oxygen parks, as you see on your screens as well. These are spaces of nearly 5,000 trees planted together to act like lungs for the land. And over the years, he has created around 10 such parks so far across the state, transforming barren ground into thriving green spaces. Let's go over to him to understand why this was the need of the hour and how he's attempting to change lives across the state. Good morning, Ajit. Hi, hope you're doing well. Thank you for being with us.
गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग।
अजीत, सबसे पहले तो हमें बताइए शुरुआत कैसे हुई इस सब की। हमने पढ़ा कि काफ़ी साल पहले आपको सफाई बहुत पसंद थी, तो आप रेलवे स्टेशन पे, अन्य जगहों पे अपने दोस्तों के साथ जाके सफाई करते थे। वहाँ जाके आपको लगता था कि जो भी यहाँ पे गंद पड़ा है उसको उठाए, अपना इंडिविजुअल कंट्रीब्यूशन रहे कुछ। बट ये जो ऑक्सीजन पार्क का आइडिया है, ये सबसे पहले कैसे आया, कहाँ से शुरुआत हुई?
इनिशियली हमने 2016 से काम शुरू किया। वीकेंड पे हम फ्री रहते हैं सारे लोग, तो हमने देखा कि जयपुर में हम कुछ किया जाए, जहाँ पे रेलवे स्टेशन है, हॉस्पिटल्स है या शमशान घाट है, ऐसी जगह हम जाके सफाई करें या किसी को खाना खिलाएं। इस तरह के हमने एक्टिविटीज 2016 से स्टार्ट किया। फिर गांव में, जो मेरा सीकर में गांव है, वहां पे भी आता था वीकेंड पे, और वहां पे भी साफ सफाई करने लग गए। और फिर है ना, जैसे कई हमने एक्टिविटीज करे, जैसे बच्चों को पढ़ाना, गायों की सेवा करना, और है ना स्पोर्ट्स में लोगों को आगे लाना। इस तरह से हम एक्टिविटी करते गए। और फिर लेकिन 2000 जब मेरा नोएडा के अंदर जॉब था, और वहां से मैं ना डेली वीकेंड पे सीकर आता था और फिर मेरे गांव आता था, तो एक बार व्हाट्सएप पे मेरे पास कटिंग आई कि शेखावाटी जो रीजन है, स्पेशली वर्ल्ड में सबसे तेजी से यहाँ पे जो ग्राउंड वाटर है, भूजल स्तर, वो नीचे जा रहा है। तो ये वर्ल्ड में, ये नासा की रिसर्च रिपोर्ट मेरे पास आई, तो वहां से हमने देखा कि हमारे पास टीम है, हम वॉलंटियर, हम पैसा भी, समय, सब कुछ खर्च कर रहे हैं, तो हम क्यों ना इसी क्षेत्र में काम किया जाए जहाँ जरूरत है। और उसके बाद से हमने एक इनिशियली टारगेट लेके चले कि 51,000 ट्रीज लगाने का, और ये साथ में ये विश भी कर ली कि जब तक ये लगेंगे नहीं पेड़, तब तक मैं नंगे पांव ही रहूंगा। उसके बाद में हमने स्टार्ट किया 2019 से, और ये 2023 5 मानसूनी सीजन आए, और तब तक हमने हर साल 10,000 पौधे लगा के ये टारगेट पूरा किया।
तो जो शेखावती रीजन आपने टारगेट किया सबसे पहले, इसके पीछे क्या कहानी है? क्या वहाँ पे ज़रूरत ज़्यादा थी इसीलिए आपने वहाँ शुरुआत करनी सही समझा, या यहाँ पे कोई इमोशनल स्टोरी भी है?
ये मेरा खुद का एरिया भी है, तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा आसान रहेगा मेरे लिए। मैं यहाँ पे रहता ही हूँ, और मेरे को टीम आसानी से मिल गई, और यहाँ पे जरूरत भी ज्यादा है, क्योंकि पेड़ जो ट्रीज है वो तरीके से मतलब लग नहीं सकते हैं, इसलिए कि यहाँ पे विंटर और समर दोनों ही ज्यादा है। अभी राजस्थान में जो फतेहपुर आप देखते हो, फतेहपुर में अभी 1-2 डिग्री माइनस में, प्लस में चल रहा है टेम्परेचर। तो जो नए पौधे लगाते हैं तो वो वहाँ पे जल जाते हैं पौधे सर्दियों में, और गर्मियों में भी दीमक वगैरह भी ज्यादा है। तो इस वजह से हम लोग है ना यहाँ पे इसी को टारगेट किया, तो इस वजह से ना, और यहाँ पर जरूरत भी ज्यादा है, भूजल स्तर गिर रहा है, तो ये एक इनिशियली सोचा कि हमें ऐसा करेंगे तो और लोग साथ में जुड़ेंगे, और सभी लोग अगर ऐसा करने लग गए तो फिर ये प्रॉब्लम सोल्व हो जाएगी।
Were you told initially, अजीत, that this is unthinkable, कि ये तो हो ही नहीं पाएगा? पहले तो जो इस रीजन के चैलेंजेस हैं उनके कारण, और दूसरा आपका एम बहुत बड़ा है कि आप 50,000 से ज्यादा पेड़ों की बात कर रहे थे।
हाँ।
तो आपको क्या बोला गया था ऐसा कि नहीं हो पाएगा? खानदान ने कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड किया?
वैसे मैंने ये जो डिसीजन लिया नंगे पांव रहने का, ये क्या है कि मैंने किसी से पूछा ही नहीं, टीम के या घर पे किसी से भी नहीं पूछा। डायरेक्ट बस से जा रहा था और चप्पल उतार के बाहर फेंकी कि अब मेरे को 51,000 पेड़ लगाने ही है। तो बाद में लोगों ने बोला, सोचा होगा 5100 लगाए होंगे, या मतलब है ना नहीं हो पाएगा। मेरे को सभी ने बोला कि पहन ले चप्पल, या कि घर वालों ने भी, कईयों ने कहा कि इसको, जैसे हम जाते थे कहीं हॉस्पिटल में किसी को दिखाने, तो साथ में बोला कि इसको भी दिखा लो, ये भी तो थोड़ा सा मतलब वैसे ही है, नंगे पांव घूम रहा है इस तरह से। कई बोलते हैं कि जैसे यहाँ पे सालासर बालाजी पास में, तो वहां जा रहा होगा इस तरह से। तो कईयों ने बोला कि बड़ा टारगेट है, अपने एरिया में ऐसा नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि सर्दी ज्यादा पड़ती है। हमने भी पेड़ लगाए थे, एक भी नहीं सक्सेस हुआ इस तरह से। लेकिन हम लगातार, हम पेड़ जैसे 3-4 महीने लगाते हैं मानसूनी सीजन में, उसके बाद में लगातार 8-9 महीने पूरे साल भर उनको देख रेख करते हैं, तो इस वजह से लग गए सारे पेड़।
और ये सब आपने अपनी नौकरी के साथ साथ किया?
हाँ, ये नौकरी के साथ साथ
किया। स्ट्राइक किया आपने?
ये जैसे हमारा वीकेंड तो ऑफ रहता है सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री में, शनिवार और संडे, और इसके बाद में जैसे मॉर्निंग में जैसे टाइम मिल जाता है, आफ्टरनून इवनिंग वाली शिफ्ट रहती है हमारी ज्यादातर, तो इस वजह से हम टाइम निकाल लेते हैं। फिर मैंने अभी 4-5 बंदों को भी जो मेरी टीम में रख रखे हैं, उनको परमानेंटली मैंने कर दिया, उनको सैलरी बेस्ड, तो अब वो भी काम संभाल लेते हैं, थोड़ा उनको इंस्ट्रक्ट करना पड़ता है।
Ajit, you started with an aim of 50,000 plants in the शेखावती region, और अब आप बहुत आगे बढ़ चुके हैं उससे। काफी अलग जगहों पे यही करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं राजस्थान में, पूरे राज्य में। परमिशंस क्या चैलेंज थी शुरू में, अथॉरिटीज़ को, ऑफिशियल्स को कन्विंस करना कि मैं ये करना चाहता हूँ, क्या वो सब आसानी से हो गया था?
यस मैम, इतना मतलब मुश्किल नहीं हुई हमें, क्योंकि हमने जैसे जो प्लांटेशन किया है वो जैसे स्कूल्स में किया है, गोचर में किया है, और साथ में जैसे जो आश्रम होते हैं, शमशान घाट, कब्रिस्तान, ऐसी जगह पे किया। तो यहाँ पे ना जब पेड़ लगाते हैं तो लोग भी, उनको अच्छा लगता है कि ठीक है, अच्छी जगह पे पेड़ लगाओ, तो ये दिक्कत नहीं आई। ये ना मतलब अभी ठीक ठीक सब सही चल रहा है।
और कुछ साल हो गए अजीत, सो टेल अस इफ यू हैव सीन एनी अर्ली इंडिकेशंस, क्या आपने धूल मिट्टी कम हो गई है ऐसा देखा है, थोड़ा सा टेम्परेचर सही रहा है, सॉइल क्वालिटी में इम्प्रूवमेंट देखा है, तो अर्ली इंडिकेटर्स क्या रहे हैं?
ये मैम अभी ऐसा लग रहा है कि जैसे ना जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी बढ़ रही है, जो हमने जो ऑक्सीजन पार्क बनाए तो वहां पे तरह तरह के पक्षी, हमें नए नए पक्षी दिखे हैं, जो पहली बार इसी मानसूनी सीजन में एक 200 बर्ड्स करके एक ग्रुप आया था, मतलब 2000 पक्षियों का, 200 पक्षियों का, तो वो हमने एक नया देखा। तो ऐसा सभी ने आश्चर्य किया कि ये मतलब, और हमें, हाँ, जो मेरा गांव है चिचास, वहां पे ना हर स्पीशीज मिल जाएंगे बायोडाइवर्सिटी में। तो यही है ना जो ये खास बात थी हमारे काम की, इसी को ही देख के हमें वो अमृता देवी बिश्नोई पुरस्कार दिया गया कि डिपार्टमेंट बायोडाइवर्सिटी को, हमें भी यही करना है कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी कैसे बढ़े। साथ में ये ना अब चारों तरफ हरा ग्रीन ग्रीन दिख रहा है, और जो हमारे ऑक्सीजन पार्क है, कोरोना में सबसे ज्यादा लोगों ने इसको पसंद किया कि यहाँ पे आके बैठते थे लोग सुबह शाम। ये
जी, ऑक्सीजन पार्क्स तो बहुत बड़ा सक्सेस रहे हैं अजीत, बट चुनौती के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए, सबसे बड़ी चुनौती क्या रही? आप एक ऐसे रीजन की बात कर रहे हैं, आप ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल की बात कर रहे थे कि बहुत कम था, और पेड़ उगाने के लिए पानी तो सबसे ज़रूरी है, तो ऐसे वाटर स्कार्स रीजन में आपने कैसे 50,000 पेड़ उगाए?
ये में ना हमने ऐसा किया कि जैसे हमने वैसे पेड़ सेलेक्ट किए, जैसे जो गवर्नमेंट नर्सरीज हम वहां से कांटेक्ट करते हैं, तो वहां पे वैसे पौधे तैयार करते हैं वो लोग कि जो उस एरियाज के लोकल होते हैं, जैसे
जिनको कम पानी चाहिए।
हाँ, जिनको कम पानी चाहिए, उन्हीं को ही हमने सेलेक्ट किया। जो एक अपने लोकल पौधे होते हैं इंडिया के, उन्हीं को सेलेक्ट किया, तो वो आसानी से लगते हैं पौधे, और उनको टाइम हमने वो केयर भी किया। जैसे अभी सर्दियों में उनको सबको, मतलब है ना, जितने इस बार हमने 5000 ट्रीज लगाए, तो सबको हमने प्रोटेक्ट किया कि सर्दी से वो नहीं मरे। तो ये ऐसे 4-5 स्टेप्स हमने अपनाए, तो फिर वो लग गए। बार बार हम जैसे 2 तरह के से हम पौधे लगाते हैं, एक तो मानसूनी सीजन में लगा के छोड़ जाते हैं, जैसा कि सभी करते हैं, और एक अगर मानसूनी सीजन में हमने लगा दिए, फिर उनको केयर करते रहे बार बार 3-4 साल तक, तो फिर है ना वो सक्सेस हो जाएगा।
और आपको लगता है, जो आपका कुछ सालों का एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, कि यही मॉडल अन्य हिस्सों में देश के रेप्लिकेट किया जा सकता है, वहां पे भी ऐसा किया जा सकता है, डुएबल है, कितना रियलिस्टिक है?
ये मैम कर सकते हैं हम, और है ना ये मेरे जैसे गांव और उसके आसपास हमने किया है, तो जो भी हमारे जो गांव में विजिट करने आते हैं और आसपास की जगह को जो विजिट करते हैं, वो ये कहते हैं कि हमारे गांव में भी ऐसा एक ऑक्सीजन पार्क बनाओ। तो अब कुछ हमारे सहयोग से और कुछ अपने आप भी ऐसा पार्क बना रहे हैं, तो ये कर सकते हैं, और सबको अच्छा भी लगता है कि हर गाँव में ऐसा एक ऑक्सीजन पार्क तो होना ही चाहिए, जिसमें मतलब बहुत सारे पेड़ हो। और
जी, तस्वीरें बहुत खूबसूरत लग रहे हैं अजीत, और आपकी कहानी उससे भी ज्यादा खूबसूरत है। बट थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दिस वंडरफुल इनिशिएटिव, एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली फॉर जॉइनिंग अस हियर ऑन द ब्रेकफास्ट क्लब। थैंक यू। All right, with that, we shift our focus to our second person of interest, Robin Bell, an endurance athlete who's just completed one of the toughest races on the planet. Robin recently finished the Antarctic Ice Marathon, running a full marathon in sub-zero conditions on icy terrain in Antarctica. It's considered the world's southernmost marathon and one of the most extreme endurance challenges. Facing freezing temperatures, harsh winds, unforgiving ground, Robin pushed through conditions most runners could never endure. So making the country proud in ways more than one, let's quickly go over to Robin to understand what really did it take to finish this race. Hi, good morning, Robin. Hope you're doing well.
Hi,
and you've
good
recovered
morning.
nice and proper.
Yes, I've recovered. I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. You know, we're keeping up with these visuals. Splendid, beautiful, just what you need to get your morning started, especially in the beginning of the week. But tell us what your story has been here, Robin. What inspired you to take on the Antarctic Ice Marathon?
Oh, for me, it's been a super special journey. You know, I love nature. I just love being out there and taking on challenges in nature. And, you know, Antarctica for me wasn't just about a race, but it was about putting myself in an extreme environment and trying to get past a certain challenge, and running is something which has always been by me. So when I first heard about the marathon, I was sold. There was no going back from there.
Oh, lovely. You're anyway an adventurer. This is one of the latest achievements of yours, but give us a quick background into the key adventures, that we see on your social media profile as well, which we must talk about.
Yes, so I actually started when I was 19, and I head out alone to Everest Base Camp, and I did my first 6,000 meter summit in Nepal, and I've been hooked from there on out. I love adventure, love going out there and adapting to extreme conditions and just seeking discomfort, because I feel that's where my growth has been. Then in 2017, I actually lived in the Shaolin Temple as a monk for 6 months, just training with monks, training Kung Fu, living Kung Fu, which it changed the way I think, it changed my way of being, honestly. And that discipline was instilled in me since there on out. And since then, I've summited multiple 6,000 meter peaks. Last year, I summited one of the most dangerous mountains in the world, which is Mount Manaslu in Nepal. It's an 8,200 meter peak. And this is very special for me, the physicality of it and staying connected to nature, because I have also had multiple knee surgeries. So I have been, I think 2022, I was on a wheelchair for like almost 3 months straight, being told that, this can't be done and this is the end of the physicality that you wish to do.
Was that a result of your heavy workouts, your loaded workouts?
That was a result of a lot of things. I was surfing big waves, I was fighting jiu-jitsu, I was training, and a part of me didn't want to stop. I think that was nature's way of slowing me down and, instilling some wisdom into me as to how to treat my body better with more love and care. And that really took me up. And all this is more special for me because getting past that phase and entering this phase makes something which was impossible possible. And I'd like for a lot of other people out there to believe that it's never it. There's always many ways to cross the road.
I'm very curious. Why would you pick Antarctic, this marathon, as your first marathon? And of course, you've done it beautifully. You've emerged as a winner. But when did you decide you wanted to run such an extreme marathon and let this be your first?
So the idea came to me 8 months ago, where, actually post Manaslu, my plan was to straight head to Everest. But then again, it's a long commitment. It's putting a lot of people, like my friends, family, through a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. And I didn't feel it was the right time. And I needed a challenge where I'm seeking discomfort. I have something to look forward to, I have something to prepare for. And once Antarctica came my way, I read, the harshest marathon on planet Earth in one of the most extreme conditions and one of the most remote places on Earth. And I was like, I need to see it. And I need to see it, I need to feel it.
I need to see it to believe it.
No better way to do it.
And tell us about the hard work that's gone into this. So it all looks lovely now. You were waving the tricolor when you crossed the finish line. But tell us about the preparation, both physically, mentally. How do you train yourself for the extreme conditions?
So one thing, I live in Mumbai. Living in Mumbai, it's very difficult to prepare and kind of simulate the conditions in Antarctica. So I kind of tried to switch it around. I tried to use the heat and the humidity to put my body through, that amount of training to create that threshold. And there was a lot of running. There was a lot of strength work. I was working with a beautiful running coach, Pankaj Ravalu. I was working with a team of nutritionists, Sophia Kohli, Mishti Khatri, my physiotherapist, Akshay Wagh. So, I had a team and they just made it so much easier for me. And moreover, it was a lot of mental preparation. I worked a lot of stillness where I'd find a white wall and just stare into it for an hour, 2 hours, trying to stay focused on it and not allow my mind to drift, because I knew I'm going to be facing that white wall for 5 hours with no music, no conversation, nothing whatsoever. And I have to keep myself sane through the process and actually enjoy it. It doesn't have to be painful. Like there were moments which I knew would be painful, but I'd already prepared myself in a way where I was like, whenever I feel pain, look up and see where you're feeling pain. There's not too many people in the world who get to feel pain in Antarctica.
Can you take us back in time? Tell us about any such moment during the marathon that was particularly difficult. You almost thought you were going to give up.
Honestly, it was a moment where I was cruising through at 39 kilometers and the weather has changed drastically. Even if you can see in the video where I plant the flags, if you notice the winds, you can hear the winds. The weather changed so drastically, and we were warned that you can develop and pick up a frostbite in minutes. Like there was another colleague, a volunteer, a racer, let's call them, that has almost lost a finger because of the cold. So weather changes, the winds have hit, and at one point my nostril is pressed in, I can't breathe from one side. I had to get a glove off to kind of give myself some blood supply. In that, my fingers are cold. I can't feel my fingers anymore. And I was like, this is all happening. I'm too close to the finish line for me to feel this. But I think that's where my mental preparation has come into play to, keep it easy. Because it's so vast. There's no one ahead of me. There's no one behind me. There's no one I can look to for support, And we have to make sure we stay on track because we were given flags on our right. And we were told, make sure the flag's on your right because if you drift, there are crevices. There's a lot of danger if you go off track, So I have to make sure I don't even drift.
Two simultaneous thoughts. One, I'm too close to the finish line to give up. And the other, why did I sign up for this? I think both those thoughts were crossing you at the same time.
It was a why, and it was more like a why now.
Why now?
Because just, I think a few kilometers before that, I was like, I'm cruising. I've stuck to the plan. I've prepared for this. Strategy is on point. Everything is working. Thank you, God. And then switch in a moment. It was all like, okay, what now? Like I was 200 meters from the finish line, but I just felt like, I wasn't reaching it. I kind of had this emotional breakdown just before, like I knew, and the flag was there. I knew, I was asking them, do I have the record? If I have the record, I will celebrate that record. And they gave me a thumbs up, and, it was just like, it felt like a year's work.
Yeah.
I had moments of my surgery.
And how much of a role did your fitness journey play in this? You're also a fitness coach and instructor. Do you think,
yes.
So for anyone watching and wondering, this guy is, has had a healthy lifestyle, maintains himself physically, are we capable of doing this? What would you tell them?
Absolutely. I think
someone who's not maintaining that kind of a, regular routine kind of a workout regime.
I think if you put your mind to it, and if there's discipline involved, there's no ceiling. You pick your own ceiling, but if you just feel like you can turn up there, show up and do it, no. It's taken me, I won't say just the last 8 months of preparation, but I had moments of a last decade of training which I have used and improvised. There are things I knew from the mountain, which was how to deal with the cold, how to deal with the frostbite, how to regulate my body temperature. So I would say it's a decade of training that has come into play to give me this moment, to get me past that finish line with a smile still on my feet, with the flag proudly, So it was a lot of it. I would say anything, if you do look up to it, we are limitless, but it's going to take work and it's going to take discipline. I think without discipline, we're not taking that step forward.
Now that we've started tracking your journey here on The Breakfast Club, Robin, what next? Is there anything exciting that you're doing next that, we can chat about again?
We can definitely. I feel I'm enjoying this journey as a part-time runner, as a part-time mountaineer. So for me, it's about making the decision whether it's the Everest or it's the Everest Marathon, because Everest has come up with a marathon which happens up there right now, and I just found out about it, and I was pretty stoked hearing about it. So either or, but I think I'm going to allow myself to recalibrate right now. I need to step out of it to step into something else.
Yeah.
If I just jump into it, then I don't want to just keep feeding the adrenaline. So I need to step out of it, kind of rework, reflect on the mistakes, the goods in it, and then I'd like to prepare. I don't want to just jump right into anything.
Right, sure. Take your time, but we're excited about your journey. Thank you so much for, just taking us to this place with the lovely visuals that you've sent out, and Congratulations once again for the success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, keeping up with the world of entertainment and what else is happening across, Bollywood is also gearing up for an exciting 2026. The spotlight is firmly on its leading ladies, from Alia Bhatt's epic collaboration with Sanjay Leela Bhansali to Deepika Padukone's big screen return with Shah Rukh Khan. This year promises powerful performances across genres. Shosha breaks down more in the special report. Take a look.
Bollywood is off to a strong start in 2026, with some of the industry's brightest leading ladies ready to make their mark on the big screen this year. From action-packed thrillers to heartwarming rom-coms and gripping dramas, here are the top actresses you absolutely can't miss this year. First up, Alia Bhatt is all set to headline one of the most anticipated films of the year, Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Love and War. Starring alongside Ranbir Kapoor and Vicky Kaushal, Alia will be seen anchoring a sweeping romantic drama that blends emotional intensity and cinematic spectacle. The very gorgeous Deepika Padukone will be returning to the big screen with King, reuniting with Shah Rukh Khan. With its massive star power and scale, the film will place Deepika back at the center of a grand commercial canvas, and expectations are already sky high. We also have Sharvari Wagh, who will be stepping into the high-stakes spy universe with Alpha, an action drama that blends intense fight sequences with cinematic flair. Medha Shankar will be seen transitioning into mainstream cinema with Ginni Ved Sunny 2, following the critical acclaim of 12th Fail. Pairing up with Avinash Tiwari, she is all set to bring freshness and relatability to a genre driven by warmth and emotional connection. Then we have Ananya Pandey, who will be back with a romantic film in 2026. She will be seen in Chand Mera Dil alongside Lakshya. Sanyara breakout star Aneet Padda is all set to make a bold move with Shakti Shalini, part of the Maddock horror comedy universe. We really can't wait for this one. After her breakthrough performance in Lapata Ladies, Nitanshi Goyal is set to line up multiple new ventures. She will be seen gearing up for her first pan-India film opposite Anand Devarkonda and is also reported to headline Shaadi Mein Zaroor Aana 2, marking her steady move into mainstream commercial cinema.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
While Minister Delcy Rodriguez was formally sworn in as the country's interim president as deposed President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York court on drug charges. So that is a major update that is coming in from Venezuela, that Delcy Rodriguez has been formally sworn in as the country's interim or acting president as deposed President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York court on drug charges. And we are joined by Siddhant Mishra on this broadcast. Siddhant, what do you make of this development?
Well, that's right. So now Nancy Rodriguez have been sworn in as the vice president, as the interim president of the Venezuela. In fact, immediately after Maduro was taken into custody by the U.S. forces, the Supreme Court, the constitutional bench of the constitutional chambers of the Supreme Court of Venezuela, appointed her as the interim president, and this has already been mandated in the constitution of Venezuela, and now she has taken the oath of the office.
Right, Siddhant. Siddhant, if you could tell us, how long is the interim presidency expected to last and what conditions would end it?
Well, look, situation is very fluid right now in Venezuela. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow, because U.S. says that we are in charge of Venezuela. Venezuelan government, Maduro's government, says that we will run the country. Then generals are also very powerful in Venezuela. In fact, yesterday at UNSC, the world the member countries demanded peaceful transition, democracy to be restored, etc., etc. All those things were said. So it's very, very, very difficult to predict the future of Venezuela because the Maduro loyalists are still running the country. They don't want to give up. Now the opposition leader Machado says that she should have been the president and she is the legit president of Venezuela. So there are a lot of stakeholders, generals, United States. So it's a very, very complex situation.
Welcome back. Now we bring to you a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing in business insights. GIFT Nifty is indicating a positive opening for Indian stock markets. Asian equities post modest gains in morning trade amid continuing geopolitical tensions. US stock markets close high on buying in shares of financial services companies. Crude oil prices steady in morning trade. Once again, traders focus on developments in Venezuela. Speaking of the banking sector in particular, credit growth has picked up. However, incremental deposit growth is lagging and remains a concern. Elevated credit to deposit ratio might be limiting for some banks, and margin remains a challenge in the face of falling rates. However, strong asset quality and capital position provide comfort. So don't forget to log into Money Control Pro to find out more about the banking sector in India and other actionable insights on markets. Well, we're almost midweek through, so don't forget to keep sending in your suggestions on what you want us to cover on The Breakfast Club. Thanks for being with us today once again. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
While Minister Delcy Rodriguez was formally sworn in as the country's interim president as deposed President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York court on drug charges. So that is a major update that is coming in from Venezuela, that Delcy Rodriguez has been formally sworn in as the country's interim or acting president as deposed President Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York court on drug charges. And we are joined by Siddhant Mishra on this broadcast. Siddhant, what do you make of this development?
Well, that's right. So now Nancy Rodriguez have been sworn in as the vice president, as the interim president of the Venezuela. In fact, immediately after Maduro was taken into custody by the U.S. forces, the Supreme Court, the constitutional bench of the constitutional chambers of the Supreme Court of Venezuela, appointed her as the interim president, and this has already been mandated in the constitution of Venezuela, and now she has taken the oath of the office.
Right, Siddhant. Siddhant, if you could tell us, how long is the interim presidency expected to last and what conditions would end it?
Well, look, situation is very fluid right now in Venezuela. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow because U.S. says that we are in charge of Venezuela. Venezuelan government, Maduro's government, says that we will run the country. Then generals are also very powerful in Venezuela. In fact, yesterday at UNSC, the world the countries, the member countries demanded peaceful transition, democracy to be restored, etc., etc. All those things were said. So it's very, very, very difficult to predict the future of Venezuela because the Rodrigue, the Maduro loyalists are.
Very good morning and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Hem Kaur Surya, and here's what we've lined up for you this morning. Let's get started. Worst fears come true after the Indore outbreak. Now Bengaluru, Gujarat and Odisha reel under water contamination crisis. News 18 investigation exposes the rot. Bangladesh Hindus living in danger. Another Hindu man killed. Second such incident in 24 hours. Is unison action emboldening Hindu hate? Madras High Court division bench to deliver verdict on DMK government's plea in Deepam Rao today. Aiming to consolidate opposition forces in Tamil Nadu, TVK says open to alliance with BJP in the state. All eyes on Amit Shah. Massive gas leak at ONGC well in Andhra's Konaseema triggers panic. Relief and rescue operations are underway. After Supreme Court denied him bail in the Delhi riots case, Umar Khalid plays sympathy card, says this is now my life. Maduro pleads not guilty to drug trafficking, terrorism and weapons charges, calls self a prisoner of war. Meanwhile, heavy gunfire reported near Venezuela presidential palace. From the national capital to metros and small towns, CNN News 18's investigation reveals unsafe drinking water triggering a nationwide health alarm. In Delhi, Sadatpur, filthy contaminated water is